there's something big here, and the big thing is the idea of taking money from foreign countries. We have campaign finance laws that say you can't take money from foreign citizens or from foreign governments. She's taking money from countries that abuse the rights of women. She's going to have to explain how that's consistent with supposedly being a proponent of women's rights when she's taking money from countries that publicly whip women who have been raped. So something's not right here, and I think people are going to ask a lot of questions.
All right, I mean, I just hope every Republican candidate could carry that torch if Rand Paul isn't the nominee. Otherwise, it's got to be Rand Paul because there's no way out of that for her. None. Joining us now is Roger Simon, co-founder of PJ Media, award-winning novelist, and he's written a great piece at pjmedia.com. Whatever you think about Hillary, it's worse. I said worse, but he said worse. Roger, welcome. I don't even know what to say anymore. I really, really don't.
Well, maybe they should start a feminist party. The feminist party, the platform would be, it's okay in Saudi Arabia, just don't do it in Scarsdale.
Well, it's not even Scarsdale. She lives in the like I think I once told you, maybe the lily whitest, at least when I back at it was at WOR, I remember finding out that Chappaqua is the whitest county or locality or whatever of any city or town in New York State. So it's worse than the Scarsdale, but as far as that goes. But so what's going to happen here? Are we setting ourselves up on the issue of this book? That there's going to be some quid pro quo that we're all going to find out about, and if not, are we setting ourselves up that she could say, see, all that fuss about that book, quid pro quo, there's nothing there. I think that's a trap that some people are starting to fall into.
I think you're right. I'm a little nervous about it because actually I'm friends with the publisher of the book, this Adam Bello, who's the son of Saul, and we've been friends for years, and I've worked with him, and I was trying to get a copy of the book early, you know what I mean, like everybody else.
But you weren't that good friends with him.
He said, send me an email. There's no copy of the book on my desk here. I'm sorry. So,
but I think Roger, it's enough. Just what Rand Paul's saying is enough. If there's a quid pro quo, if this book should prove something, fine. But let's not everybody start talking about this book. Then there's nothing in the book provable. I still think we have plenty with just taking the donations from these countries while she's Secretary of State, and countries that treat women, like he said, that whip women who have been raped.
Yeah, not only that, there's a great case in Saudi Arabia where they burned these schoolgirls alive. I mean, it's an insane asylum, but it's okay because they pay. I don't, it's really crazy. And I totally agree with you. Don't overestimate the book because there's so much. And also, what about the emails? 30,000 emails gone? Right. I mean, yeah. They were supposedly vetted. How long does it take to read 30,000 emails?
I love in your piece you talk about, speaking of habits, you say that's what Hillary Clinton is, and you say no one, including Hillary Clinton, knows why she's running for president.
Well, there's one reason, power.
Well, yeah.
Also, the second reason is to justify this awful experience she had with her husband.
Yeah, that's a,
I mean, that was the deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shut up, stick with me, and I'll help you be president.
Absolutely. Well, somebody said, who was it, just the other night? I could remember, if you give me a second, but it's TV, I don't have a second, talking about how Uma Abedin would probably be Hillary's chief of staff, and so you would have Weiner and Bill Clinton back in the White House together.
Well, that would be a beer I'd like to have. Forget the old beer summit with Henry Louis Gates and all that boring race talk that never happened. Let's get to the nitty-gritty here.
Unbelievable. They just had Weiner on CNN's reliable sources to talk about the it was reliable sources to talk about that tour she did, that Hillary did, and Weiner actually says, my wife probably doesn't even know I'm on CNN right now, which is could you, if that's not the most ridiculous, true, unbelievable thing you've ever heard. All right, so is there any chance, forget the book, is there any chance that the public, the women in this country, wake up and say, wait a minute, how did she take money into a foundation from countries that whip women who were raped?
Well, maybe there's a chance. It's up to people like us and also to the women that we know. I mean, you know, when I'm going to start this Diary of a Mad Voter thing we've been talking about, I've enlisted my wife, who's a better writer than I am, to write stuff for it, because I think women will listen to women more than they'll listen to, you know, us oppressors.
Well, that's interesting. Of course, we are the worst, as men were referred to during the Susan Rice hearings, the optics of a bunch of old white guys. They were calling, you know, talking that way to a black woman, old white guys, like it's some disease, you know. Anyway, Roger, we'll talk.
But I'm wearing a modern shirt.
We'll talk to you soon, Roger. Always a lot of fun.
Okay, ciao.
Take care. Roger Simon, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming back with a lot more. Chris Impey is here. Talk about outer space. What's our future in outer space?